Hi, everybody. We are from the Boys and Girls Club of Worcester. My name's Cassie,
And my name is Precious.
and we are here to teach you all about babysitting. It's a really, really important job. Wherever there are families with young children, especially under the age 12, you babysitters will be so important and very much needed. These parents are going to trust you with their children.
Yes, they are.
They're putting their loved ones in your care while they're not there, and they're going to expect the best. So remember, you have to like young children in order to be a successful babysitter.
The first time that you're babysitting, you want to make sure that you meet the family and the child. The importance of your role is that you want to ensure that you are taking care of the child safely. Before babysitting, you want to make sure that you meet with the parents and you ask any important questions and go over any important procedures for the child. For example, you must be wondering, what are those questions like? What questions should I ask? I got it right here for you. You want to be able to ask, what are the household rules? What time is bedtime? Are there any pets in the house?
Make sure that you discuss with the parents ahead of time what your expectations will be while you're in their household. Remember that you always, always, always clean up anything that you use while taking care of the children. This can include clothing, this could include blankets, toys, the dinner dishes. They want the house to be in the order that they left it in. So it's your obligation to handle that. And make sure that you always have permission from your own parents and guardians before you babysit anywhere. Safety first.
As a babysitter, you want to remember that you are in charge, however, you are not the parent. You want to make sure that you are responsible and that you love being around children.
You should always be neat and clean, have appropriate, comfortable, flexible clothing, and something you don't mind getting dirty in, just in case. You have to be reliable and be able to follow instructions because you will also be expected to give instructions. And you never, never want to leave the children unattended, and always practice the best safety you can.
It may always seem like it's a fun idea to take on babysitting multiple children at once, but you got to take into consideration that taking care of 2 toddlers versus taking care of kids who are school age might be a little bit different.
So now we're going to jump into some do's and don'ts while you're babysitting. So some do's and don'ts. For do's, you always want to be on time. You also do want to get to know the families before you agree babysitting. It'll be in their best interest as well as yours. You do provide snacks or food that are handled by the adults and approved. Make sure that you do know what screen times and TV times the children are allowed to have. And you do remember what the parents asked of you. If they asked you to feed the pet, or if they asked you to put away the clothes before the child went to bed. Remember those things because they're more likely to invite you back after.
You want to make sure that you do not go through people's personal stuff while babysitting. You are there to babysit and not to look through anybody's stuff while being there.
So now we're here to talk about some tips for babysitting. Number 1, practice the basic child care procedures. You should be able to know how to safely monitor the behavior of these children. You should know simple things like preparing meals or snacks and how to feed the children as well. You should be aware of changing diapers and also having some age-appropriate activities. In your packet, you'll have a page that looks like this. Try this out ahead of time. You want to remember that there's playing, there's making it safe, making it creative, fun, and educational. These will be very, very helpful when a kid gets bored and you want something to do. So, you should also know the basics of taking care of an infant. Remember, they're more delicate than a school-age child, and there are different ways you have to bottle feed them, diaper, what to do when the baby cries, and other safety do's and don'ts. So, number 3, that also means you need to know the house rules. The children will expect you to follow what is similar in their environment, and they will thrive better when you do. So, some rules you might want to clarify before the parents go away are, what are the kids are and aren't allowed to eat? What activities are forbidden? What time they should be going to bed? If you're unsure or having any wondering questions about them, ask the parents before they leave.
Number 4, you want to make sure that you're respectful. For example, there's some households who may not wear shoes in the house. You just want to make sure that you're aware of that. Number 5, you want to make sure that you have safety trainings. You want to make sure that you have first aid and CPR training. If a child is playing outside, they may get a scrape. You want to make sure that you know how to properly clean that up. And if it's more on a serious note, you want to make sure that if a child is choking, you have the training for that as well. Number 6, you want to make sure that you have emergency contacts and procedures. That includes work and cell phone numbers for parents and also other entrusted adults. This is a consent form that you will need to have parents sign prior before babysitting. This will help in case if an emergency happens or if a kid needs to be transported to the hospital, you have right to be able to share that medical information to the paramedics.
Number 7, you want to make sure that you have age-appropriate specific knowledge for these children. Understanding different ages and stages will greatly help you take care of the kids, and it can help you avoid just everyday household dangers. Remember that opening a dresser drawer could fall on a small child, and something like a marble could be a choking hazard if they were to eat it. We'll go over some ages and developmental stages later on, but also keep in mind your game ideas sheet, because if you plan this ahead of time, you could have different games to keep the kids happy. Getting bored is not fun. Number 8, make sure that you know how to prevent and handle some common children behavior. You might be aware of some of them. For example, a child who has separation anxiety. They might display anger, crying, hitting, or otherwise not wanting to be separated from their loved ones. That's common. They might have battles during bedtime, getting up multiple times, having excuses with liking some water. That's common for children. And some children might also have troubles with transitioning. How do you deal with a kid who doesn't want to stop playing and clean up his toys so you can give him dinner? Those are things that you're going to want to understand as a babysitter and problem solve ahead of time when you might be experiencing these different ranges of behavior. If you don't understand how to deal with it, you're going to have a hard time communicating with the children.
Number 9, practice decision-making skills. The babysitting course talks through decision-making using the FIND model. F, figure out the problem. I, identify the possible solutions. N, name the pros and cons. D, decide the best decision. This model can help with decision-making while babysitting. Number 10, you want to make sure that you communicate effectively with the parents. You want to make sure that you understand what the expectations of you are while babysitting. Before committing to babysitting, you want to make sure that you talk to your employer, who are the parents, how much you're going to be getting paid. But if this is your family that you're babysitting, you need to understand that sometimes you may not get paid, but maybe if you wanted to go to the mall, mom will give you an extra $20 to go shopping.
This is a very important topic: child abuse and neglect. Remember, if you are babysitting a child or children that you suspect have been abused or neglected, it's very important to say something. You should tell an adult that you trust, maybe a parent or guardian, an older sibling, a teacher, someone who is old enough to help you through this. Express your concerns and ask for help.